Hello everyone and welcome to today's cryptocurrencies update for Monday, May the 9th, 2022. I hope you all had a wonderful weekend and a wonderful Mother's Day. A big kudos to all the moms out there, and I hope you all were treated very well by your husbands, children, relatives and friends as you deserve. And today we're going to track primarily Bitcoin and Ethereum, which are riding the third wave lower. All other cryptos are on track for their downside targets too. Remember last week I was looking for that U-turn to happen? It still hasn't happened. So we're still, of course, monitoring and tracking that one. In the meantime, we got the breakdowns. For example, Luna is right on track. MATIC, everything is riding towards those target zones based on Elliott wave, based on Fibonacci, based on symmetry. By the way, the picture shown here is from Nazaré in Portugal. It is probably the biggest surfable wave in the world, 100 plus feet. That is not me. I've done in my life probably 20 foot, something like that, which is about a third or a fifth of that one. And it already scared the crap out of me. So again, what does it take to ride these waves? Well, you got to have some big cojones for sure. But also, not only that, you need to be, of course, well trained, well informed, and well knowledged to do that. This is not somebody who just woke up one day and said, I'm going to ride that wave. That doesn't happen. These guys have been training for many, many years to be able to catch maybe one of these waves in their entire life. You cannot do this by just thinking, oh, I'm just going to do it. And that's what the same is with the cryptocurrencies. We got to really put in the homework and really be able to understand what's going on, to figure out what's happening. And so far, so good. Once we get that, then you can ride a wave like that. And this is a classic third wave, the biggest wave that is known in Elliott wave. So let's have a look straight at the charts. And if you want to ride these waves, go get a wetsuit, go get a surfboard and start practicing. And the ocean will teach you some humility. Trust me. Been there, done that. Here we have Bitcoin. Let's start off with the big boy. All right. First and foremost, the B wave I was tracking topped here in the ideal B wave target zone. I was looking for a longer, more complex B wave target zone. That is based on my opinion, which was based on more of a time symmetry perspective on how long the A wave and the B wave, subsequent B wave should then take. All we did was top in the target zone and the market thought that is enough. Once we started to declining, I tracked this impulse lower and I said we would then look for a bounce that had to top in this red target zone and this black target zone. It did exactly that. Then it started to decline. It's maybe a little hard to see here and did a lot of wishy-washy going on. Again, sometimes you cannot explain every single move that's going on. This kind of was confusing. I was looking for this breakdown to get us kind of more immediate to this downside target. Okay, it didn't happen. We went down, up, okay, down, up, down, up. So now that we finally are breaking down, we have the trigger in place. I said below here, the B wave low opens up this black path. It's all about the possibilities of probabilities. This was confusing. Again, I cannot explain every single daily scribble. That is near impossible. That's why I say I'm 70% reliable and around 95% accurate. Of course, that accuracy falls away when I'm not right. Of course, then I can't be accurate. So once things are right, then I say we are about 95% of accurate. And look where we are for this wave 3 in the target zone. Okay, this is so far looking good. I think we have a wave 1 here. And this is what I showed. If we break down, we will get here. Then I was looking for this resistance level here. And every subsequent resistance support level has now turned into resistance. And we have now definitively broken below the low of the year, which was made in January. And you can see how complex this B wave was. Welcome to B waves, near impossible to forecast. Up, down, up, down. Now we have so far a standard impulse lower. I'm looking for Bitcoin to bottom in this target zone, anywhere between 28,400 and right where we are now. Then we should bounce back. Again, be careful. In bear markets, upside disappoints and downside surprises. And then we should eventually rattle our way lower to this level here. Okay, somewhere for this to complete, in my humble opinion, a nice impulse lower for cycle 4, and then we can start looking for a cycle 5 to new all-time highs. So we have done wave A, wave B, and our 5 waves, wave C. Looks good. Okay, looks good. We really need to drop much harder to suggest something entirely different is going on. I like it. Again, this mess here was hard to explain. I'm sorry about that. I cannot explain everything, but I knew that once we broke below this low here, the option for this black path materialized, and it did. So then we simply have to sit through this. And of course, the candle that materialized here a couple of days ago really broke things down to the downside. I like it. These are the target zones right here. They're on the charts. I will send them along with the video so you can have an easy look at where we are supposed to bottom and where we're supposed to top. Nothing out of the ordinary yet. This has been on the map for quite a while. If we want to zoom out a little bit, we can, for example, look here. Let's see if I can find the chart. This was a option, for example, wave A, and then we would do a wave B, and then a wave C. We had to break out above the recent highs made about a month ago. Well, that didn't happen. We broke down instead, and that, of course, then opens up, not this one, this is the alternative. Then it opened up, let me see here if I can find it. Maybe I don't, maybe I do. Where is it? Sorry about that, so many charts. This path, right? The path I just showed you, this path. So that was what we were looking for potential bounce. The trend line didn't hold, then we move higher. Ethereum, all right, going back here to the all-time high in November. It feels years ago, right? Years ago, all right? All the losers have left. Why? The literally losers, these are people who have lost money. I was looking for a more complex B-wave bounce, similar as Bitcoin. Why? From a time symmetry perspective. But Ethereum also said this is enough. We bottomed, or topped, sorry, right in the ideal B-wave target zone. This was the ideal B-wave target zone based on Fibonacci retracements of the decline that started in November going into January. An A, a B, and a C. Complex. I don't even know what this is. Looks maybe something like a flat, maybe not, whatever it is. This was all of wave B. And then we did 5 waves lower. We topped here, ideal wave 2 target zone, and look where we are now. As I said, below here opens up this potential impulse path. Well, it really tried to wrong foot the most, including me, in the sense that I didn't know what this was. But we got the final breakdown, and we are now on our way. Again, this is where you get, okay, I'm 70% right of the time. I don't know what this was. I still don't know. It's fine. Looks corrective. It's all good. Probably a set of 1, 2, 1, 2s. It's fine. We're in the downside targets. I expect us to reach somewhere in the 2150s. We bounce to about 2550, 2540, and then one last step lower into the 2000s. By the way, that is not so much lower compared to the January low. Then we need to start rallying and start to rally above this red downtrend line. This red downtrend line has held all the upside in check, so it's key to get above it. And this also shows you that the lower we go, the lower the threshold is to get into a new uptrend. So this is really nice. We start to be able to buy lower. This is also why you need to have stops in place. My trading system caused a losing trade. It went long here, and then it got stopped out here the very next day. Took it on the chin, but look how much more downside it prevented. If you're not willing to take this tiny little loss, then you will have to sit on all of these losses. That is pure trading. I don't care whatever time frame it is. That's the beauty of having a stop in place. Trading like a pro is taking small losses to prevent a lot bigger drawdowns. So we got stopped out at about 2800, and look where we are now, 2200. No, thank you very much. Hopefully I now have enough gunpowder left? Of course I do, because the position size was small, the stop was small, to get a buy signal, hopefully from here, and then we start making lots and lots of money once again. I really want to point it out why you need to have stops in place. You need to have those stops in place to prevent much further losses. This is where traders turn into investors with parentheses. Okay, they didn't use stops. They were trading, everything went to the moon. Great. Oh, I'm a hero, all that stuff. And then the big bad bear came. How are you going to make money into this? There's no money to be made other than sitting on cash, which is a fantastic position as well, and maybe a few small steps here and there, but most of the time you'll get a couple of losing trades in a row. Bear markets are intended to destroy everyone, and he or she who comes out with the least losses, I'm not saying profits, least losses, is the winner, because you have the most gunpowder left to ride the next bull up. So most people will sit through losses, trading doesn't work anymore, and they turn their strategy into from trading to investing, meaning now we're just going to do buy, hold, and hope. That's not how it works. With the Elliott wave now, we have a clear path forward, but I'm going to track and see how it's going to materialize. So far, so good. 3, 4, and 5 is my preferred path. Things can always extend to the downside. I have no guarantee. There's no reversal in place. I see nothing of a reversal just yet, but this is now the preferred path that opened up. Moving on to Luna. Luna reached the target zone for wave 5, 5, 5, 5, 3. Look where we are now. Yes, we had a little bit of a confusing price action here where I presented some alternatives. Why? Because as I showed you before, B waves can be quite complex. Luna did a quite simple B wave, but we have to remain open to the possibility that Luna would also do a more complex B wave. But I said 77 needs to hold. If we break below 77, then we're going to go to 57 based on simple symmetry. And where are we now? Bingo. Where are we now? This was the ideal wave 4 target zone. We're here, but wave 4 can always extend because we can reach the 161.8 all the way down to 33. There's no signs of a low in place. If anything, this looks quite weak. But so far, so good. I told you we had to look for a breakout of, I think, above 97.5 to look higher. Until then, the breakdown would target 57, and we have already reached it. So far, so good. I like it. Elliott wave working beautifully. Here we have Binance coin. Binance coin had to hold 360. If it didn't hold 360, I said we would go to 250. I was looking for this U-turn path in the case it would hold 360. Well, that didn't happen, so that U-turn path can now be deleted. Again, this is the condition you're looking for, and then you're waiting for the trigger by going above 412, 450, etc. These are why there was absolutely no long signal anywhere on this chart. So there should absolutely be no reason to go long this at all. And if you did, then you had to have very tight stops in place to prevent this smasher of a downtrend. So I think I have here 250. It looks more like about 270. So raise it a little bit. And we're going to now watch for the U-turn path again. So there was not even a high risk entry. And now the high risk is moved here to 360. Of course, support is now turned into resistance. Medium risk is now at about 410, I believe it is. And then the low risk is still at the 200-day moving average. Okay, that's still at about now 465. That cannot change. Eventually, the low risk will go to the 450s, etc. Just this shows you why you have to have those triggers to say, okay, that's where I go long. And if not, then I just simply sit on my hands. Cash is a fantastic position too. Now, I was looking for this more complex B wave as I showed you before as well. I thought we would really do an A, a B, down to 350, and then a C. Unfortunately, that didn't materialize at all. That is definitely an error on my part from an opinion point of view. Why? Again, we had quite a long decline here for about 1 month, 2 months, 3 months. So I thought just a month-long bounce is not enough. And the bounce didn't even reach 38.2% retrace. If anything, then now, this really shows why we had to wait for the breakout. That didn't happen. I was waiting for the breakout. I already said below 390, targets 350. So all of them have been reached. but we never got a bounce from here that brought us back above 410. So this whole mess was simply already all of the bounce. Quite disappointing, and it simply means, as usual, that in bear markets, upside disappoints. It really did. I guess I apologize for that, but we had clear that I thought we would have a more complex, longer drawn B wave bounce, but apparently this is what the market wanted to do, and this is all it gave us. That was it, unfortunately. But again, we did not even break above any levels. There were no long triggers. If anything, we only knew that we would reach 350 on this break below 390. So now the next target is 270. We're not that far away, maybe 260. As you can see, that is now, of course, support. But I have here 270. Why? That is based on simple symmetry. As you can see here, that's the top to support, and we draw it right there. Simple and similar to Luna. So I like it, and now, of course, next support is in this zone. Okay, and we'll have to simply see if it holds. If anything, this is a short environment. This is definitely not a long environment. And unfortunately, from an Elliott wave perspective, this was the only bounce we got. Meager, measle, classic. Expect very little upside in a bear market. But eventually, this will also turn into a bull market once again. No worries about that. Avalanche. How did Avalanche do? Well, it broke down, as we were looking for, into already support here at 45. This is the ideal C wave target zone, nicely on track, no surprises. Excuse me, still suffering a bit from my cold. Headache, sinus headache keeps on going, but it's slowly improving. The cold I have, by the way, is worse than I had COVID in 2020. I don't think I've ever had it this bad. Anyway, we're not talking about my health here. We can drop all the way back to $1.05, so there is no signal of a reversal whatsoever. What does it take? Back above 65. That is my next level. I'm going to look for Avalanche. Otherwise, we're on track for this A, B, C pattern, which is still corrective. I like it. How about MATIC? MATIC, we were tracking this potential U-turn path because it was holding the $1 support. It had to break above 125 to start suggesting this U-turn was underway. That didn't happen. The 125 would have been your trigger to do a high risk long entry. That never even got close. So now we are targeting 70 cents because we have a breakdown. Okay, so this is now, of course, resistance in red. I think it's red. And this is now, of course, support. So this is now, of course, also resistance. Let's make that dotted. And here, this is now support. Classic corrective bear market behavior. So the high risk entry is now here at $1, okay? Oops, at $1. That is our high risk. Then the medium risk is now, of course, at $1, I believe 25-ish, somewhere around there. And the low risk is still at the 200% of 200 day moving average, not 200%. All right, so one step at a time. And you can see if we break above $1 from here, we start to get close to breaking above this downtrend line, especially at the medium risk and certainly at the low risk. So far, so good. Moving along quite nicely as anticipated in the sense that, okay, we got the breakdown. And remember the trend, where price is in relationship to the trends. Always keep that in mind with any long positions you want to initiate. Are we in a uptrend like we were here, or is it in a downtrend? If you're in downtrends, then make sure that if you want to go long so badly, make sure your losses of your position size is small and your stops are tight to make sure you have tiny little losses. Because in a bull market, you can be sloppy on any long entry, right? You could have entered the long here, you just sit it out for 2 months and you have still money. Bear market, no. You enter anywhere and you're not having any stops in place, you'll get destroyed. All right, please keep that in mind. Solana, also, I was looking for this more complex B wave, didn't materialize. The market thought all it takes is about a month of a rally. Based on symmetry, we got there. We didn't break above this downtrend line. unfortunately, and now we're on our way to lower prices, as I showed you last week. Those lower prices are based on where we were in the spring and summer of last year. We broke below support. This was the support level right here. It's the same blue line I had on the chart, so no surprises. That was $1.80. Okay, if we break below it, we can go to $1.60 to $1.50. So far, so good. This is following along the preferred path nicely as well. So I like it. And that's really all I have for today. Unfortunately, no upside progress, but we're reaching here these downside target zones for Bitcoin. We did not get the follow through for a bounce. That would have been really nice to get a triangle. So instead we get a more simple ABC setup. We had the parameters in place. This trend line had to hold, which was pretty much close to the lows that we were in recently. So this trend line here, right, this low, if you would extend this line from this low to this low, it didn't hold. That was your get the you know what out target, and now we are on our way to the preferred impulse pattern. I like it. So far, so good. Same for Ethereum. So far, so good. We're already in wave 3. Target zone, I have no sign of reversal just yet, so we're going to let this play out. The bounce was measly and meager from a length perspective in time, not so much from a upside perspective. I would have liked a little bit more though. I was actually, I think, originally looking for about 4,300, somewhere around 4,000. That's not what we got. But we got in the target zone for a minimum bounce, and that was the same for some of the other cryptocurrencies. Luna, right on track, wanted to broke below 77. That was the key. Support level it had to hold, and now we are already at the symmetry target. It can go as low as 33 to be determined. Binance coin, also here, failed to put in a more complex B wave, broke down. This is soon a whites in your eye moment here, can reach 270, 260 based on simple symmetry. And I think this looks like a bleak chart that it can be reached. Avalanche as well is already at $40 support almost, can reach as low as single digits. So no signs of a reversal yet, not even close. MATIC as well failed to hold $1 support, is now on its way to 70 cents. Let's see if that holds, excuse me. And the high risk trade is, of course, what the previous support was. Same with all the other ones. But I think for now, there's no point in looking for long entries until we start to break higher and see some serious upside. And Solana here as well, breaking down into the next support zone, erasing the entire rally that started in the summer of last year. Again, this can go all the way down to $1.20. Wouldn't surprise me. Okay, downside surprises, upside disappointments. This was indeed the B wave, not as long in time as I expected. I would have liked to see a longer drawn B wave, also a little bit more for Solana, but this is all we got. And that is quite unfortunate. The minimum was reached and it was decided that was enough. So that's where we are currently. Further downside should be expected. Let's see if we can complete this impulse to the downside on Bitcoin and Ethereum. Those are the two big brothers to track. All the altcoins, don't put your money too much on those. They might all disappear, go to zero. It's fine with me. Bitcoin and Ethereum are the ones that will survive, in my humble opinion. And if we get a real nice impulse to the downside for these big boys, Ethereum and Bitcoin here, oh boy, then it's time to start to put on the party hat, in my humble opinion. Not there yet. So take care, trade safe, and I'll see you all on Wednesday. Bye.